The old cabin stood silent in the woods, its wooden frame blending with the dense forest. It was dark, with only the moon casting an eerie glow, making the shadows dance eerily. Inside, four friends laughed and unpacked, their voices echoing through the empty rooms. Mark, Sarah, David, and Emily were excited for their vacation, eager to leave their worries behind. They had rented the cabin for a week of fun and escape from their daily routines. Little did they know, fear would soon replace their joy, turning their laughter into silence.
The friends unloaded bags filled with board games and snacks, ready for nights of fun and laughter. The cabin smelled old, like dust and damp wood. Mark shivered, feeling a chill run down his spine. He couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, a sense of unease settling in. He pushed the feeling aside, determined to enjoy the trip, convincing himself it was just his imagination.
After settling in, the friends gathered around the warm glow. Flames crackled, casting dancing shadows on the walls, creating an atmosphere of both comfort and mystery.
Let's play Never Have I Ever. It's the perfect game for a night like this.
They all agreed, eager for some lighthearted fun and a chance to share stories. As the game went on, Emily brought up a chilling topic that sent shivers down their spines.
Never have I ever played Bloody Mary. Who's brave enough to try it tonight?
Mark's blood ran cold. He knew the legend well, but he had always dismissed it as a silly story told to scare kids. Mark tried to hide his discomfort, but his friends noticed his unease and exchanged curious glances.
You look scared, Mark. Don't tell me you believe in that stuff. It's just a game, right?
Mark mumbled a denial, trying to laugh it off, but his heart pounded in his chest, betraying his true feelings. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were tempting fate, and that something unseen was watching them. The others pressed on, their laughter echoing in the small cabin.
Come on, Mark, it's just a game.
They dared him to go into the bathroom and say Bloody Mary 3 times in the dark. Mark hesitated, fear gripping him.
Don't be a scaredy cat.
Mark, pressured by his friends, finally agreed. He slowly walked to the bathroom, each step heavy with dread. Mark stood in the pitch-black bathroom. His heart pounded in his ears. He took a deep breath and whispered,
"Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary."
Silence. He let out a shaky breath, relieved.
See, it's just a stupid...
He was cut off by a loud thump from the living room. Mark rushed out, his blood turning to ice. The cabin was plunged into darkness. The fireplace had gone out, and a cold draft snaked through the room.
What was that? Emily whispered, her voice trembling.
The friends fumbled for their phones, their faces illuminated by the pale glow. They searched for a flashlight, their hearts racing. Suddenly, they heard a soft whisper coming from the corner of the room. They froze, their blood running cold. The whispering grew louder, morphing into a low growl. The friends huddled together, fear paralyzing them. They could feel their breath catching in their throats as the shadows in the room seemed to twist and writhe. Mark, his eyes wide with terror, pointed to the bathroom door. It was slightly ajar, and a sense of dread filled the room. He could have sworn he had closed it tightly just moments before. The door had been secure, or so he thought. A cold gust of wind blew through the cabin, slamming the door shut with a force that echoed through the walls. A piercing scream ripped through the air, shattering the eerie silence that had settled over the cabin.
"Emily!" he shouted, his voice filled with panic and desperation.
They rushed towards the bathroom, their hearts pounding in their chests like a drumbeat of fear. The door creaked open, revealing a horrifying sight that made their blood run cold. Emily stood frozen, her eyes glued to the mirror, unable to move or speak. Her face was drained of all color, and her lips moved in a silent scream, as if the very air had been stolen from her lungs. Mark slowly approached her, his hand reaching out to touch her shoulder, hoping to offer some comfort.
"Emily, what is it?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper, trembling with fear.
Emily slowly turned towards him, her eyes wide with terror, as if she had seen something beyond comprehension. But it wasn't Emily's fear that chilled him to the bone. It was something far more sinister. It was what he saw reflected in her eyes, a horrifying, contorted face leering back at him from the mirror, a face that did not belong to either of them.